The text message glowed on my phone screen at 11:47 p.m. Need a huge favor. Family dinner tomorrow. Need you to pretend to be my husband. Will explain everything. Please. I stared at it, my thumb hovering over the keyboard. This wasn't just any text, it was from Eliza Chen, my boss of 3 years. The woman who determined my promotions, my raises, and apparently now, my weekend plans. What would you do if you were in my shoes? If you're enjoying this story so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more unexpected life journeys like this one. I'm Alex Reeves, 32, Senior Marketing Strategist at Horizon Media. I've always prided myself on maintaining clear professional boundaries. Yet here I was, standing in front of my bathroom mirror the next evening, adjusting a tie I rarely wore, preparing to meet my boss's family as her fictional husband. The story began 3 days earlier when Eliza called me into her office. I'd been expecting our usual quarterly review, but instead found her pacing, something I'd never seen in all my years working under her leadership. "Alex, I need to ask you something completely unprofessional," she said, her normally confident voice wavering. I sat down slowly. "Okay. My grandmother is visiting from Shanghai. She's 92 and has terminal cancer. This is likely her last trip to America." Eliza paused, her fingers tapping nervously on her desk. "For the past 5 years, I've been telling her I'm married." "You've what?" "It started as a small lie to make her happy. In traditional Chinese families, there's enormous pressure on women to marry. Every call became an interrogation about my relationship status. So I invented a husband to give her peace." I nodded, beginning to see where this was heading. "She wants to meet him, before she goes back. It's just one dinner. My parents know the truth, but they're playing along for her sake." I should have said no immediately. Office relationships are complicated enough without adding fake marriages to the mix. But something in Eliza's expression stopped me, vulnerability I'd never seen from my always composed boss. "I'll do it on one condition," I heard myself say. "You have to meet my friends afterward." "Your friends?" "Why?" "Because they've been telling me for years that I need to get out more, take risks, live a little. If I'm going to pretend to be your husband, I want witnesses to prove I'm capable of spontaneity." A smile broke across her face. "Deal." The taxi pulled up to an elegant brownstone in Queens. Eliza waited on the steps, wearing a deep blue dress that transformed her from the sharp-suited executive I knew into someone softer, more approachable. "Remember," she whispered as I approached, "we met at work, married 2 years ago, no children yet but planning soon, and you're allergic to shellfish." "Why am I allergic to shellfish?" "So you have a reason to refuse the crab rangoon. My aunt makes them, and they're terrible." I laughed, and something shifted between us. For a moment, we weren't boss and employee but conspirators in an elaborate charade. The door opened before we could ring the bell. A petite elderly woman with bright eyes and a wide smile stood before us. "Waipa," Eliza said, embracing her grandmother. "This is Alex." The old woman studied me with surprising intensity. Then she reached for my hands, holding them in her small, papery ones. "You take care of my Eliza?" she asked in accented English. I glanced at Eliza, whose expression was a mixture of anxiety and hope. "Actually," I said, "she takes care of me." Her grandmother laughed, a delighted sound that immediately put me at ease. "Good answer. Come in, come in." The apartment was filled with family, Eliza's parents, her brother and his wife, 2 cousins, an aunt and uncle. The air was fragrant with unfamiliar spices, and conversation flowed in a mix of English and Mandarin. I was introduced as Eliza's Alex, a phrase that felt strangely comfortable. Dinner was a feast of dishes I couldn't name but eagerly tried. Eliza's father, a professor of economics, engaged me in conversation about market trends while her mother kept refilling my plate. The grandmother watched us with evident satisfaction. "How did you propose?" she asked suddenly during a lull in conversation. Eliza choked slightly on her tea. We hadn't prepared for this question. "It was actually quite spontaneous," I began, buying time. "We were working late on a project." "The Westfield campaign," Eliza interjected. "Right, the Westfield campaign. We'd been at it for hours, and everyone else had gone home." Eliza was frustrated because the client kept changing their requirements. I was improvising, but as I spoke, I found myself creating a moment that felt surprisingly real. She was standing by the window, looking out at the city lights, and said something about how nothing ever goes according to plan. And I remember thinking how beautiful she looked, even exhausted and annoyed. So I said, "Some things don't need a plan." And then I asked her to marry me. The table had gone quiet. Eliza was staring at me with an unreadable expression. "No ring?" her grandmother asked. "I bought it the next day," I said. But that night, all I had was a paper clip that I twisted into a circle. Her grandmother clapped her hands together. "Ai Ching. True love." Eliza's mother caught my eye and gave me an approving nod. I felt a strange mix of pride and guilt, pride at having pleased this family, guilt at the deception. After dinner, Eliza's grandmother insisted on showing me photo albums. As we sat together on the sofa, she pointed out Eliza as a serious-faced child, a teenager with academic medals, a college graduate. I saw my boss transform through these images from stranger to someone I knew. "She works too hard," her grandmother said quietly. "Always studying, always working. I worry she forgets to live." I looked across the room where Eliza was helping her mother clear dishes. "I know what you mean. You make her laugh. I see it tonight. This is good." When it was time to leave, her grandmother hugged me tightly. "Take care of each other," she said. "Life is short." In the taxi afterward, Eliza was quiet. "Did I do okay?" I asked. "You were perfect," she said. "Too perfect. That proposal story. Sorry if I went overboard." "No, it was." She looked out the window. "It was nice to imagine." The following Friday, Eliza met me outside a bar in the East Village. She'd texted earlier, "A deal's a deal. Meeting your friends tonight." She looked different in jeans and a casual sweater, her hair loose around her shoulders. Less like my boss, more like the woman I'd pretended to be married to. "Nervous?" I asked. "Should I be?" My friends can be intense. Inside, my closest friends were already at our usual table. Jamie, my roommate from college, Sophia, who ran a bakery in Brooklyn, Marcus and his husband David, and Riley, who I'd known since high school. "Everyone, this is Eliza," I said. "The boss." Jamie exclaimed. "Alex has told us nothing about you, which means he's either planning to quit or he has a crush on you." "Jamie," I protested. Eliza laughed. "I'm hoping it's not the former." "Sit," Sophia said, patting the seat beside her. "We want to hear all about how Alex is at work. Is he as annoyingly perfectionist as he is about everything else?" The evening unfolded in a way I hadn't anticipated. Eliza fit seamlessly into our group, laughing at inside jokes, offering stories about workplace mishaps, asking questions that showed genuine interest. My friends, initially skeptical, warmed to her quickly. "So what's with the husband charade?" Marcus asked after Eliza had explained the family dinner. "My grandmother is old school. In her world, a woman my age should be married with children." "And in your world?" Riley asked. Eliza considered this. "In my world, I've been so focused on my career that I haven't made space for much else." "Alex has the same problem," Sophia said. "All work, no play." "That's not true," I protested. I play plenty. Board games don't count, Jamie said. When was your last date? I glared at him. We're talking about Eliza, not me. Actually, David interjected, you both seem to have the same issue. All this pretending to be married, maybe the universe is trying to tell you something. Eliza and I exchanged glances, a moment of shared embarrassment. Later, as the night wound down, we found ourselves alone at the table while the others were at the bar ordering a final round. Your friends are great, Eliza said. They like you. That's rare. Do they usually dislike the women you bring around? I don't usually bring women around. She studied me. Why not? Work keeps me busy. That's my excuse too. She traced a pattern on the table with her finger. Can I ask you something? That proposal story you told my grandmother, where did that come from? I felt suddenly exposed. I don't know. It just seemed like something that might happen between us. If we were, you know. If we were real, she finished. Our eyes met, and for a moment, I saw possibility. Then her phone buzzed with a message. Work emergency, she said, checking it. I have to go. She left quickly, with brief goodbyes to my friends and a promise to do this again sometime. I watched her go, feeling like something important had slipped through my fingers. You're in trouble, Riley said, sliding back into the seat Eliza had vacated. What do you mean? I mean you're falling for your boss, and based on how she looks at you, it's mutual. That's ridiculous. We were pretending. Were you? Riley raised an eyebrow. Because that didn't look like pretending to me. Monday morning at the office was awkward. Eliza was all business, as if our weekend experiences had never happened. I told myself this was appropriate, we were back in our professional roles. But something had changed. I found myself noticing things I'd overlooked before, how she tucked her hair behind her ear when concentrating, the way her voice softened when speaking to junior staff, her habit of standing by the window when thinking through a problem. 2 weeks passed in this strange new awareness. We were cordial but careful, maintaining a distance that hadn't existed before. Then her grandmother returned to Shanghai, and a week later, we received word that she had passed away peacefully in her sleep. Eliza didn't come to the office for 3 days. When she returned, her eyes were red-rimmed but her demeanor was composed. She called me into her office late in the afternoon. I wanted to thank you, she said. My grandmother talked about you every day after that dinner. She was so happy to have met you. I'm glad I could help. And I'm so sorry for your loss. She nodded, looking down at her desk. The thing is, Alex, she left us letters. There's one for you. She handed me an envelope with my name written in shaky characters. Should I? I gestured, asking if I should open it now. Please. Inside was a single sheet of paper with careful English handwriting. Dear Alex. Asterisk, an old woman sees many things. I see how you look at my Eliza. I see how she looks at you when you are not watching. This is not pretend, asterisk. Asterisk, life is too short for pretending. My Eliza works hard but forgets to live. You understand this because you are the same, asterisk. Asterisk, take care of each other. This is my wish, asterisk. With love. Zhang Wei. I looked up to find Eliza watching me, her expression vulnerable. She saw through us, I said. She always was perceptive. Eliza took a deep breath. Alex, I've been thinking a lot about what she said, about forgetting to live. I don't want to do that anymore. What do you want to do? I want to have dinner with you. Not as your boss, not as your pretend wife. Just as me. I felt something expand in my chest. I'd like that. There's a complication, of course. Company policy. About dating within the same department, I finished. I've been offered a position in the international division. I was going to turn it down, but maybe I shouldn't. You'd consider transferring? For this? For a chance at something real? Yes. She smiled then, a genuine smile that reached her eyes. My grandmother would approve. 6 months later, Eliza and I stood together on the Brooklyn Promenade, the Manhattan skyline glittering across the water. My friends and her family mingled around us, celebrating our engagement. Do you think she knew? Eliza asked, looking up at the stars. Do you think she somehow knew this would happen? I thought about the old woman who had held my hands and looked into my eyes with such knowing. I think she hoped. And sometimes hope is enough to set things in motion. Eliza leaned against me. Remember that proposal story you made up? Of course. I liked it, but I like the real one better. I smiled, remembering how I'd actually proposed 3 weeks ago, not with a grand gesture but with quiet certainty one morning over coffee, when I realized I never wanted to pretend again. Me too, I said. Reality beats fiction every time. As we stood there, surrounded by the people we loved, I thought about the strange path that had led us here. How a lie had somehow led to truth. How pretending to be something had helped us see what we could actually become. Sometimes the most unexpected detours lead exactly where you need to go. Life rarely follows the path we expect. Sometimes it takes a pretend marriage to find a real connection. Sometimes we need to step outside our comfort zones to discover what truly matters. If this story resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories about life's unexpected turns and the courage to follow them. Remember, sometimes the greatest adventures begin with saying yes to something that seems impossible. What would you do if someone asked you to pretend to be their spouse? Let me know in the comments below.